Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staub. We're glad to be with you with another hour of Cruise Control coming up. I'm here. Les Jackson is here. And
I'm here.
We are all glad. We've got a lot going on. We've got Lexus showing off its NX. Mazda has a lineup plan for 2022, I believe.
Yep.
Les, you even saw one of their electric Mazdas, right?
I drove one.
Yeah.
It's a prototype. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and a whole lot more coming up on Cruise Control. And also, you're going to have an at-the-wheel review of this crazy car, which is the John Cooper Works Mini. Did yours have that wing on the top of the vehicle?
Yes, it did.
There it is.
But it was painted in Rebel Green. Now I don't know why they call it Rebel Green, but it was.
Yeah, interesting.
With the red accents, everyone noticed it.
I bet you got noticed. And then we're also going to talk about something GM is calling Ultra Cruise. It's going to replace Super Cruise. This could be a real, or very close to real, self-driving car. We'll talk about that, and they say it can be used in many places in the United States on many roads. So we'll talk about that. It's all coming up on Cruise Control. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Hello and welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's time again to head out on the road and start looking around the automotive industry, Les, for stories that we like to tell you about, especially if you're off to buy a car or truck and you want some information, right?
That's right. We'll give you the information, but don't buy it right now.
Yeah, tough time for sure. We're starting out with something I like to talk about, and you and I have talked about this. There's a lot of new technology on vehicles, and a lot of it just gets ignored by new car buyers. It's one of the interesting conclusions of J.D. Power's Tech Experience Index study. We're going to look at that study and tell you about some of that tech.
Absolutely. And that, this is really important. And it's just people are missing so much of it. Meanwhile, Lexus shows off its all new NX, now available as a plug-in hybrid. As you predicted a number of years ago, everything will be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's going to be every vehicle is going to be a plug-in hybrid or have that available. And then Mazda tells us about its big plans for 2022. Will it include the Mazda 6 sedan? Well, it will be sold somewhere. We don't know where, but we'll tell you about that. There's going to be more SUVs, too. No surprise.
Oh, yes,
there.
indeed. And I actually tested one of them this week. And talking tech, as we are known to do, ultra cruising with GM. I think we can call this level 4.
Yeah, I think
autonomy.
This is going to be level 4 autonomy, and it will be a real deal. We'll tell you about that. And then, Les, you're going to have an at-the-wheel review of a really cool, fast pocket rocket, the John Cooper's Works Mini, right? What was this thing like?
That's exactly right. In fact, it has a long name. The John Cooper Works Mini Convertible Carbon Black Dynamic Edition. That's the end of the review right there.
We just call it fast. That's what we call it.
It's zippy.
Zippy. All that and more when we get rolling on Cruise Control. Zippy Cars reviews right here on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. It's all there. Check out the YouTube page, cruisecontrolradio.com. That's the place to go. We will be right back. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson.
Les Jackson.
Yeah, he is. And we're going to talk some cars and trucks. So stay tuned to Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Les. He's Fred. And first on the docket today, Fred, I just wanted to use the word docket.
We can use it. We can use it in every story now, Les. I think
that's right.
We should just. What's on the docket, Les?
I hate to say this, but when I review the Mini later, I have to use the word bespoke.
Uh-oh. You hate that word. You just...
I hate it.
You absolutely hate that word, bespoke. I know you do.
Yep. Anyway.
All right.
One of the biggest problems we find when we're testing new vehicles and talking to people, and we get hundreds of emails and questions, is explaining the technology. And we find people largely are ignorant of just how advanced the technology is in new vehicles.
Yeah, and some of that is because it's hidden, like all the crash mitigation, a lot of the other things, even things like lane keeping and that, if you don't know to turn those buttons on or what they do or why they're there, you may never use it, right?
Well, that's right. And on top of that, the owner's manuals are so huge that literally no one reads them.
Right.
And there's a lot of information in there that's really useful.
Right.
So, why aren't you using them? And anyway, J.D. Power has recognized this, and they put out an index of basically the technologies that are going unused, the just everything that they hope people can use to learn more about their vehicles and make them even safer.
Yeah, it's interesting. The executive director is Kristen Kolodge. I guess Kolodge. I guess that's the way you say it. Executive Director of Human Machine Interface at J.D. Power.
Well, that's an important thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting title, though.
Especially in the near future of vehicles. Human machine interface, V2X, as it's called by the engineers.
Okay.
It's important. You're gonna, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to learn to know your vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so here's some of the conclusions they came up with. That 61% of new vehicles owners say they have never used in-vehicle digital market technology, and 51% of those saying they have no need for it. And owners feel about the same about driver-passenger communication technology. 52% saying they have never used the technology. 40 of those saying they have no need for it. We have to dig down a little bit. What are some of these technologies they're talking about? By the way, also they said some of the technology just doesn't work in other markets.
True.
So now Tesla scored the highest with the most technology. They received an innovative index score of 668 out of 1,000. But then there are some other brands in there too. Genesis does well, doesn't it?
Genesis across the board, is sort of the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla, I realize, has a higher score, but Tesla has so many faults or defects in their vehicles that it's not a Genesis.
Right, and then some of the models also received high ranks are Hyundai.
Yep.
And then Cadillac Escalade received high marks for its camera rear view mirror technology. Ram 1500 mass market for a convenience award, also for camera rear view mirror technology. And Lexus IS receives a premium model emerging automation award for reverse automatic emergency braking technology. That's one I love. especially if you have a car, if you remember those sedans, and you are backing out of between two large SUVs and you can't see.
Yep.
This will warn you or stop the vehicle, depending on the system you have. And once again, something like that, you may not know you even have it, right?
Well, most people don't know. But once they are in that situation, which is pretty much within a week, they'll go, "Hey, this thing just told me there's somebody coming. This thing just stopped.
Well,
Look at this. I can see a virtual bird's eye view. Wow."
I have an idea about how this technology can be made more aware to people buying vehicles. We'll tell you about that when we come back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staub. He is none other than Les Jackson. And we are glad you're along for the ride. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. It's all there, cruisecontrolradio.com. We're talking about this J.D. Power Tech Experience Index. Hyundai did very well. Genesis did very well. What's some of the technology, Les, that you don't like on new cars that you wouldn't use? Like, just name one thing that you were like, hey, I don't really see the need.
I don't particularly care for the haptic control on the screens.
Okay, the haptic.
I just think that's unnecessary and it's sort of gimmicky.
You know what I don't like? I never liked the speed controlled volume on radios. I hate that. If someone leaves that on in a press car, I'm immediately like, whoa, pull over and figure it out. Because the cars are not that loud. It's not like you're standing by a jet engine and you're trying to hear the Rolling Stones on the radio. You know, it's not that they're not that loud. And if the engine gets a little louder, so what? You know, I could still hear the radio. I think that's a dumb one. I don't know. Maybe people out there, hey, put us something in the comments either on YouTube or Facebook. What are some of the new technological advancements that you really don't use in your vehicle or don't see the need for?
See, but I think the bulk of those technologies they don't use because they don't know they have them.
Well, this is what we started to talk about in the break. When you buy a new vehicle, they can't run down all of these things in like 10, 15 minutes of orientation.
No.
So what I was saying they need is a demo mode in the car, much like a TV. If you look in your TV, if you bought it in the last couple of years, it probably has a demo mode, and the demo mode is there to show you the features if the thing is sitting in the store on the shelf. So they put it in all of the TVs, and I guess it could show you how to use it yourself or all the features. But they need something like that in cars where you go in, you're parked, maybe a video comes up on the screen and said, let's talk about lane departure warnings. Here's what will happen. If you have this button pushed and it will flash the button on the dash, this will happen. Then it shows what happens in the mirror, and you'll hear this sound, beep, beep, beep. And this is built in. It probably involve another chip, but you can't get the chips. But
sorry,
but this would be the way to do this. Like it's like the owner's manual is burned into the car, and if you're stopped, like you could press a button, let's say in the demo mode, and say, oh, there's a button with a steering wheel on it. What does that do? And it'll say you've pressed the such and such button. This button allows you lane keeping. If you start to move out of the lane, you'll hear this sound, deet, 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 or you'll feel a little vibration in the wheel, you know, and it works at this time. I think that would be great because people aren't going to read owner's manuals. The dealer's not going to show you all these things. They may not know these things, and frankly, they may not have time to go through all of these things. And I think it'd be a better way to go. And I don't know if any manufacturer does that now. Maybe they do, but it's certainly something.
You know, it's funny. I don't know of any, but we could be wrong.
It's sort of like what happens on a computer. You hover over a key, and you're like, what does that do? And then the little box pops up and says, oh, that's so you can trim your picture or something like that. I think that's what's needed. I mean, it's just not, they just don't have the time to go through it. Let's face it, people are going to be buying cars online. We're going to talk a little bit later about how you can buy a Hyundai on Amazon now. So no one's going to be doing this sit down and run through. And the vehicles are a lot more complex. They have a lot more hidden features. Some of them are important safety features. But you know, I think that this kind of demo mode is needed for cars of the future. But there you have it. A little bit about the J.D. Power Tech Experience Index. Pretty cool. Let's move on to a reveal, shall we, Les? The Lexus NX, all new, revealed this week. And there's a lot to talk about, including a Lexus Interface multimedia system with available 14-inch touchscreen. Where does it all stop, Les Jackson? It gets bigger and bigger.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a Lexus dealer near me, and I actually drove by yesterday thinking maybe they had one to show. There was almost nothing on the lot and nothing in the showroom.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say when it will be available. That's for sure. But one of the key things here is this vehicle is now available in the form of the NX 450H Plus, and that is a plug-in hybrid. And that is great news because plug-in hybrids, I still say, are the best way to go. Of course, plug-in hybrid gives you a certain amount of all-electric capability if you plug it in, and then once that is expended, it becomes just like a regular hybrid that you can drive around and still get great economy. So if you're around town, it can be all-electric. When you move on to like a road trip, it can become just like a regular hybrid. And there are two options on this, a 2.5-liter hybrid powertrain in the NX350H, and then the plug-in hybrid powertrain, the NX450H that I just mentioned. Lexus has upped its game when it comes to infotainment. They were kind of a little bit behind the curve, if you remember, Les. A lot of their vehicles had that old touch screen where you had to move your finger around, and sort of like a laptop type of situation. It seems like they've kind of gotten that off the docket. We have to use the word docket a lot this hour, apparently. And you're going to use the word bespoke at least once.
You're overusing it now.
Sorry. I overstepped my boundaries. So, but this new NX looks pretty incredible. A lot of technology. It has intuitive connected multimedia system. And there's also a standard 9.8-inch display. You can get that optional 14-inch. And I think it's a great update. I can't wait to drive the plug-in hybrid model. 36-mile range on the plug-in hybrid model, all-electric range.
That's pretty good.
You remember? Go ahead.
Notice the gap in the wheel well between the top of the tire and the arch.
It's a lot, actually.
It's a lot. Must have huge suspension travel.
Yeah. And then estimated combined mileage 84 mpge for the plug-in hybrid. So cool stuff. A lot of technology, good power, and then of course it comes with Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0. Here's all those hidden features, Les, that you wouldn't know about.
Yep.
Including risk avoidance, emergency steer assist, left turn oncoming vehicle detection braking. So you wouldn't know. How would you ever demo that anyway? You would have to.
Yeah, that's really quite good.
Dynamic radar cruise control with curve speed management. That's pretty cool. So,
and with steering assist, a lot of these, when you want to change lanes and turn the turn signal on, with the dynamic radar and the steering assist on, it'll usually steer itself into the next lane for you.
So it's something you might want to know about ahead of time, but
kind of important.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to look at what's going on with Mazda for 2022. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Mazda.
Go for it.
And welcome back. Welcome back. Well, as we promised, Mazda is bringing out a slew. Technically, I don't know what the number slew refers to.
They have a full docket of new vehicles.
A full docket of slews.
Of no, I can't say it.
No.
Okay.
I'll slap you.
Bespoke. Sorry,
you
folks.
Just really enjoy that.
Yeah, I have to use the word docket and bespoke in all segments of the show today. So
that's right, because it amuses you to torture me this way.
I'm becoming an irritant.
That's right. That's right. You're like the splinter in the banister of life.
All right, I never thought about that.
Anyway,
let's talk about Mazda.
They've got all kinds of stuff, one of which I drove the other day.
Yeah, we're going to get to those cars you drove a little later on. You had a WAPA rally. What does WAPA stand for? Washington
Automotive Press Association.
Yeah, you drove a bunch of them, including what did you drive Mazda wise? Let's start with
the new MX-30 electric Mazda.
Yeah. It looks cool. We'll have a picture of that later.
Yeah, I'll mention a couple things about it later.
Mm-hmm. But tell us a little bit about what's coming up for Mazda in the 2022 model.
Sort of everything. They're expanding the range of, guess what, Fred? SUVs.
I'm not surprised.
And they're in Europe. They're going to launch the CX-60 and the CX-80.
Bigger
of course, they have the CX-90 here, and they're going big. Everybody's going big.
Because that's the way to do. Go to
much to my dismay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the CX-80, for instance, is going to have 3 rows. We're not going to get the CX-60, but we're going to get a version of the CX-70.
Okay.
They're calling a wide body.
Yep.
And of course the CX-9, but it'll be the CX-90.
Yeah, so they're adding a 0 to all of these.
That's every time you raise the price $1,000, you add another 0.
Okay.
And they'll be powered, a lot of them, by Mazda's new 6-cylinder powertrains.
And a lot of them are going rear drive, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I guess they're all-wheel drive available, but rear drive mainly, which is interesting. And a lot of 6-cylinder engines, right? Which is also unusual for this this time in the auto industry. Most are going to turbo 4s. So it's interesting that they're doing that.
That's right. And I mentioned the EVs. Now the EVs will later on most likely have rotary engine range extenders.
Rotary engine range extenders. By the way, that is the new Mazda, right? That's the MX-30.
That is it. That's the very one I drove.
MX-30. That's going to arrive. It's completely electric, except, as you said, it will have a rotary engine onboard generator.
Later, yeah.
Late availability, as they say.
Well, it'll be several years.
Okay. That's
right
really late availability.
Really late. But it just drives great.
It's a nice,
and there's something clever they did that I'll tell you about later.
Well, I like the fact I'm a real big fan of the two-tone with the contrasting color roof and contrasting to the body. I think that's cool. We've seen it a lot now on Nissan does it a lot. I think Nissan was one of the first to do it, and I always thought it looked good. You know, like
it looks
metallic
great.
Red with a black top or something like that. So that's coming in 2022. That's going to be their first big EV crossover, I would imagine. And then they're going to roll out, aren't they? I wonder how small this rotary engine range extender will be. I'm thinking it might
be tiny.
The size of a lawnmower engine.
Oh, I think smaller than that.
Wow.
I would venture to say it'll have a diameter of maybe 8 inches,
Wow.
maybe a length of a foot, foot and a half.
Wow. That's
You know,
crazy.
like twice the size of an air conditioner compressor.
Wow. That is crazy. I just want one of those things to do something with it.
I want one too. I want
want to
one right
bolt it
now.
to a board and run it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's an interesting concept. We thought we would see a lot more range extenders. The biggest range extender I can think of was the Chevy Volt, which had a full-size 4-cylinder engine, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And then, of course, BMW, didn't they have in the X3, they had like a motorcycle engine that was offered as a extender?
Right. It's a very good motorcycle engine.
Yeah, yeah,
Because they make them.
yeah,
But that's what it was.
yeah. And
It
then
is.
one of our favorite cars that no one buys, in the U.S. at least, Mazda 6. It's a great vehicle. I'm telling you, if you could get a sedan, if you're looking for a sedan and you can find one of these things, and maybe you can, I don't know. It's a great sedan, really upscale interior, nice offerings on the drivetrain, good room inside. Well, anyway, there is going to be a replacement list for the Mazda 6, but we may not be seeing it. It's not been confirmed in the U.S.
Of course.
So, so there you have it. But very interesting stuff coming from Mazda, and other than adding zeros there to the names, there's going to be some cool stuff coming along. I'm hoping the plug-in hybrids from Europe come over here. I don't see why they couldn't make them available here. And there is going to be a lot more plug-in hybrid SUVs and CUVs, as we mentioned. We just mentioned that Lexus has just come out with one and adding one to their lineup. So, to me, it's a no-brainer to get those in there, get those into the lineup. Helps them with their cafe ratings, especially new ratings coming along. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
Very cool, for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some technology here, Les Jackson. We like to do that. Let's talk about GM's Ultra Cruise. And Ultra Cruise is the next step in their semi-autonomous driving program. Of course, they have Super Cruise now, and it was available on the Bolt. The Bolt is not available right now because of the battery issue. And it was available on the Escalade, but that has been discontinued on the Escalade, probably due to the chip shortage. But basically what Ultra Cruise is, they announced it this week, General Motors. It's an all-new advanced driver assistance technology and is a step towards their goal of zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. It will cover more than 2 million miles of road at its launch in the United States and Canada, with the capacity to grow up to more than 3.4 million miles. And you will be able to travel truly hands-free across nearly every road, including city streets, subdivision streets, and paved rural roads, in addition to highways. So how does it work? Well, Ultra Cruise, this is right off their release. Ultra Cruise is powered by a 5 nanometer scalable computer architecture that is future-proofed, and it will provide users with information based on their experience with the system through an all-new dynamic display. It will react to permanent traffic control devices, follow internal navigation routes, maintain headway, follow speed limits, support automatic and on-demand lane change, support left and right-hand turns, support close object avoidance, support parking in residential driveways. And it will provide 360 degrees of perception around the vehicle.
And they've been working on this a long time. I rode in a fleet of these, obviously, with the engineers. On Capitol Hill in Washington 5 years ago. They first tried them out, and they told them to drive themselves to the convention center about a mile away, and they did.
Wow.
I mean, it's a little scary, but
Like, why aren't your hands on the wheel? Why aren't you looking out
that's
the
right.
window? The windshield.
Exactly. But that, so it's not like they've been doing this since last week.
Yeah. Interesting technology for sure. We'll be talking more about Ultra Cruise as we know more. Hey, when we come back, Les is going to hit the track in this very cool Mini, John Cooper's Works Mini. Don't read the long name, Les. We'll never make it to the break.
No, it'll be the end of the show.
All right. We'll be right back on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. I'm Les. He's Fred. But I have a car that I just
bespoke. Sorry.
Maybe not today.
I'm gonna
maybe
fade
not
my mic
tomorrow,
out.
but eventually.
Hey, Wes, you have a review, don't you?
I do.
It's
It's the John Cooper 2022, by the way. Mini John Cooper Works convertible.
right.
These are, well, you'll see why it's so special later on. This particular one is in what they call Rebel Green,
Okay.
the one I tested, and it's the Carbon Black Dynamic Edition.
Carbon Black Dynamic Edition. Okay.
Yes, which, by the way, includes, oh, heaven help me, bespoke, iconic
I didn't
trim.
say it. Notice, I did not say that.
I know you didn't say it. Anyway, what you get, it's, by the way, it's $6,000 for this.
Wow.
What you get is actually $6,500. The soft top has the Union Jack stitched into it.
Oh, that's nice. I know.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. Boy, that's expensive. Anyway, you get damper control, dynamic damper control. You get, of course, heated steering wheel. You get all the keyless entry, that stuff people are used to. You get piano black leather. It's the blackest leather I've ever seen.
It's not shiny, though, is it?
No, it's very high quality.
Mm-hmm.
Dual zone climate control, touch screen navigation. There's a whole list of things you get with it.
Okay.
And of course, you get the 18-inch JCW circuit spoke wheels, which I think you'll see on these pictures.
Yeah. There's you on the Nürburgring.
That's me on the Nürburgring going the wrong way.
Okay.
Well, we had been drinking, and they're two-tone, by the way, the brake calipers and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, needless to say, with the 228 horsepower, 236 pound-feet of torque,
Mm-hmm.
8-speed sport automatic, obviously that's quick shifting. This thing is designed to just really
Rip.
melt your face in the turns.
Okay.
And it does. You get everything that's promising. Believe me, a Mini is already fun to drive. This thing is like you feel like you're a puppy just running as fast as you can possibly run.
Wow.
It's just, it's quite a machine to drive. A little bit of a throaty exhaust, not too noisy.
Uh-huh. Does it have the big fender extensions? I don't know what.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Big wing.
Well, I lied about the wing because it's a convertible.
Yeah, there'd be nothing to mount it for.
Yeah. Somehow I think they'd figure a way if somebody
couple
wanted
pipes.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it really is it a smooth ride? Well, smooth on a flat surface.
Okay.
It does not like bumps. It certainly doesn't like potholes. This is a serious performance vehicle.
And there's not a lot of wheelbase to soak that up.
No. So it's short wheelbase, narrow track, super performance tires. 18-inch wheels.
What's powering it?
It's their 2-liter mini turbo engine.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 228 horsepower. You feel that.
How about
it doesn't weigh that much.
Torque steer. Did you get any of that? Because all that's going through the front wheels, right?
No, there's no torque steer at all.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they must have really engineered it out of it.
Yeah, a lot of companies have done that. Anyway, how much does this cost?
How much does this cost? Yes.
A lot.
Okay.
It tops out at $46,350.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a mini.
That's not a mini price tag.
It's not a mini price tag. It's a lot of money. I mean, that's short of $50,000. It also doesn't get great mileage, but not bad. 24 city, 33 highway.
Okay.
I got like 25.
But remember, this was the convertible. Probably the coupe is significantly less. The other thing I wanted to ask, any cowl shake, because it's got really stiff tires, stiff suspension.
No.
And it's a convertible.
Under full load, no cowl shake. This thing is a stiff body.
Wow. I do like that top. That is very cool, having the
top is very cool. It's also pretty quiet inside.
So it's insulated.
You don't get the usual, you feel like the car next to you is in your car.
In your car, sitting in the back seat, yeah.
But, you have to think about the money.
Yeah, you can get a lot. You could get a Mustang GT for that, couldn't you?
Got an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For that. And this isn't the most practical thing to drive. It's
and all minis are fun. You don't have to go for the top of the line.
That's right. Yeah.
I always think even down to their Oxford edition, where they give you a lot of options, they package it up and it's not all that much money. I think it's under $25,000 if you even if you get like I think they have a dual clutch DSG transmission, and that's, to me, still a lot of fun, and it's a fun commuter car, and
that's why if you're a boy racer and you just want everybody to see that you've got the ultimate, that's great. But you could have 95% of the fun in as you say, a $25,000 mini, and have the money left over to maybe buy a really interesting used something, Genesis
collector car or something.
Yeah.
I have to say that's a lot of money for a mini. That's just what I'm thinking. It's
that's right.
I almost think I would buy something mini used and have a little more fun. But hey, it's cool they brought this out. The wing, it's interesting. The wing on the hardtop versions almost looks like you left the hatch open. It extends out so bad.
That's true. That's right. By the way, the side mirrors have the same red tips as the other red accents.
Nice.
Along the body. I don't know why they did that, but it looks interesting.
Looks interesting. Yeah. I think the new minis for was this a 21 or a 22?
22.
Oh wow, okay. The new 22s look like they have a mustache that kind of turns down.
Yeah.
Just the look of the face.
A couple people when I was parked, said, "Oh, it looks different," but they couldn't say why.
Yeah, it's that mustache in the front, that looks like.
But they're making minis over in England one every 68 seconds.
Wow.
And that's what, 21 years since they've been making them.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's
pretty good problem.
Yeah, pretty good problem. And they're all fun, really. There's
a
lot of variety and good fun stuff. Hey, we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. It's all there. We'd like to keep you up to date with what's going on in the automotive world. Time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
And I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.
Bye.